Welcome to a house where we transform followers into leaders and leaders into agents of change. That is not a slogan. That is a covenant. And in a recession, we do not panic, we plan. Write this down, please. Panic is the confession of the unprepared. Planning is the language of rulership. When the world trembles, the kingdom thinks. When the media shouts crisis, we whisper strategy. Everybody say strategy. Say it again. You are not here to survive the season. You are here to govern it. Write this down, please. Foresight is wealth. Hindsight is debt. Proverbs 22:3 says, the prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it. Vision pays, reaction costs. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Proverbs 29:18. That word vision means prophetic insight, revealed blueprint. Foresight buys your future wholesale. Hindsight makes you borrow it at interest. Tell your neighbor, don't look too hard now. I will not pay interest on what wisdom could have purchased. Clap right there, because that sentence is going to save you 10 years. When people talk about wealth, they normally think about money. I don't. Money is not wealth. Ideas are. Write that down, please. John 1:1 says, in the beginning was the Word. The Greek word is logos, an expressed idea. The universe didn't begin with money. It began with an idea, spoken, structured, and stewarded. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, it is the Lord who gives you power to get wealth. He doesn't give cash. He gives capacity, concepts, and counsel. Pray for wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and divine ideas. A man with ideas is always rich. A poor man is a man who has no ideas. That's why recession is not your enemy. Ignorance is. Recession is simply the tide going out to reveal who built their foundations on foresight. Everybody say, store before the storm. Say it again. Not fear before the storm. Store. Genesis 41 is our template. Joseph didn't cast lots. He created logistics. He didn't post panic. He built policy. He didn't hoard. He harnessed. Here's the hook and the promise. Joseph beat famine here. It's his 7-year play compressed, and then we will unpack it for your family and business. In summary, years 1 and 2, audit, prune, and store 20%. Years 3 and 4, shift to production, systems, and multiplication. Year 5, build distribution. The road is richer than the warehouse. Year 6, convert influence into policy and protection. Year 7, open the storehouses, monetize mercy without exploitation. That is the play. And we're going to walk it out step by step until you have a personal store and scale plan on paper. You will leave here with decisions, not discussions. Let me set your heart. Genesis 41:33-36 reads, let Pharaoh look for a discerning and wise man and put him in charge of the land of Egypt. Let them gather all the food of those good years that are coming and store up the grain. This food should be held in reserve for the country to be used during the 7 years of famine. Write this down, please. Famine is not an accident. Famine is a demanded exam. Wisdom schedules the answers before the questions are asked. Joseph didn't wait on whether he worked a warehouse. He didn't guess. He governed. That is why this next season is not about you having more emotion. It is about you exercising more authority. Let me tell you a story to break the spell of fear. Fictional, but factual in principle. Marcus and Eliana were a young couple in a city that lived on vibes and vacations. When the checks were fat, the spending was faithful. But one night, at a kitchen table with bills and takeout, they wrote down a simple kingdom sentence: store before the storm. They cut 20% from their lifestyle and added 20% to their learning. She took night classes in data analysis. He apprenticed with an older contractor to learn estimating. They stored skills like others stored sneakers. They stored relationships, serving their neighborhood council without pay. 2 years later, the city's biggest employer collapsed. Their friends panicked. They planned. Eliana designed dashboards for 3 small businesses that needed visibility more than vanity. Marcus priced jobs accurately when other contractors were guessing and gasping. They did not pray for money. They prayed for ideas, and God breathed on their preparation. Friends, listen carefully. The same storm that sinks boats lifts ships. Write this down, please. Foresight turns your life into a ship. Everyone say, start before the storm. Now say, produce through the storm. Good. Fear amplifies scarcity. Foresight multiplies capacity. Hindsight is debt because it makes you rent the wisdom you refuse to own. But foresight is wealth because it gives you time. And time is the most valuable currency in the universe. God is the Ancient of Days. He invests in planners. In this room right now, I cancel the spirit of reaction. Tell your neighbor, your panic is not prophetic. The kingdom does not drift, it designs. Joseph rose from prisoner to prime minister, not by prayer alone, but by policy shaped by revelation. Proverbs 24:3 says, by wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. By knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Write this down, please. Wisdom is the architect. Understanding is the engineer. Knowledge is the interior designer. Stop decorating a house you have not drawn. We will draw it together. Here is our emotional journey for this moment. We will reframe crisis into foresight. We will discipline our build. We will convert influence. We will command a crisis. We will leave a generational legacy. That is the arc. You will map a personal store and scale plan in real time, your 7-year blueprint for your household and your enterprise. And for those of you who feel late, hear Isaiah 46:10, declaring the end from the beginning. God is not surprised by cycles. He is sovereign over them. Connect your plans to his patterns. Let me bless your mind right here. Put your hand on your head if you dare and declare, this is the end of panic. This is the beginning of plan. May poverty never live in your house again. May your eyes see before others see, hear before others hear, and build before others build. May the Lord who gave Joseph a strategy give you a schedule. Write this down, please. You are as poor as your ideas. You are as rich as your ideas. Money follows management. Management follows revelation. So we begin. The first law is foresight. The first confession is store before the storm. The first decision is to change what you think wealth is. Money is pursued. Riches are accumulated. Wealth is created. In the name of Jesus, may you become a creator. Genesis 41 is not superstition. It is a system. And systems don't care who runs them. They produce for whoever applies them. That is why this teaching will not just inspire you. It will instruct you. We're going to plan 7 years like Joseph. And when the famine comes, you will not flinch. You will open doors. You will set prices with righteousness. You will protect your people. And your children's children will call you wise. Because Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. That inheritance begins tonight with foresight. Now, everybody say it one more time. So your soul remembers, store before the storm. Say it again. Good. Let's go to work. Open your Bible in your mind and walk with me into Genesis 41. Not as superstition, but as operations. Pharaoh dreams of 7 fat cows and 7 gaunt cows, 7 healthy heads of grain, and 7 thin ones scorched by the east wind. The data is clear. Cycles are coming. Joseph does not panic. He interprets. He doesn't preach doom. He designs. And Joseph said to Pharaoh, God has revealed to Pharaoh what he's about to do, 7 years of great abundance, then 7 years of famine. Genesis 41:25-30. Write this down, please. Revelation without administration is hallucination. Joseph marries insight to instruction. He gives a schedule, then he gives a system. Listen to the policy. Genesis 41:33-36. Let Pharaoh look for a discerning and wise man and put him in charge of the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh appoint commissioners, take 1/5 of the harvest during the 7 years of abundance. They should collect all the food of these good years, store up the grain under the authority of Pharaoh, to be held in reserve for the country, to be used during the 7 years of famine. That is not magic. That is management, measurement, storage, distribution, pricing. Everybody say policy. Say it again. Joseph specifies a percentage, 20%. He defines a period, 7 years. He identifies a structure, commissioners. He outlines geography, store cities. He clarifies purpose reserved for crisis. Write this down, please. Wisdom designs systems. Authority scales systems. Notice Joseph did not ask Pharaoh for money. He asked for management. I don't think like most people who read this as a miracle moment. I don't. This is a manual. Verse 48 says, Joseph collected all the food during those 7 years of abundance and stored it in the cities. In each city, he put the food grown in the fields surrounding it. Regional storage solves regional shocks. Local silos reduce spoilage and political risk. He built a network before he needed a rescue. That's logistics. That's supply chain. That's warehousing by design. Write this down, please. What you refuse to count, you consent to lose. Proverbs 27-23 says, be diligent to know the state of your flocks and attend to your herds. That's inventory control. Luke 16:10, he who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. That's governance. Look at the authority transfer. Pharaoh hears an interpreter, but he crowns an administrator. Can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God? Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, since God has made all this known to you, you shall be in charge of my palace. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you. And he took his signet ring and put it on Joseph's hand, dressed him in fine linen, and put a gold chain around his neck. Genesis 41-38-42. Relationship capital turned insight into implementation. Write this down, please. Ideas open doors. Integrity keeps them open. A name you can trust is currency. Most of the time, you don't need money. You need a signature. Use my name, says Pharaoh with that ring. That ring means policy, procurement, and police power. It means your system can scale beyond your strength. Clap right there, because your next level is not more sweat, it is more authority. Now, watch how Joseph moves from plan to platform. He establishes commissioners, layers of oversight to prevent leakage. He sets measurements, standard sacks, scales, and receipts, so the 20th belongs to the reserve, not the corrupt. He builds store cities near production to cut transport costs and spoilage. He likely designed rotation to keep stock fresh, first in, first out, common sense stewardship. He creates central reporting. How do we know? Verse 49 says, Joseph stored up huge quantities of grain, like the sand of the sea. It was so much that he stopped keeping records because it was beyond measure. That means they kept records until abundance exceeded their previous systems. Write this down, please. Systems must be elastic. Plenty will break small ledgers. Upgrade before overflow makes you blind. And in distribution, Genesis 41-56-57, when the famine had spread over the whole country, Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold grain to the Egyptians, and all the world came to Egypt to buy grain from Joseph because the famine was severe everywhere. He timed the opening. He controlled the flow. He set pricing that managed demand and preserved supply. He leveraged location store cities, became solution centers. He converted scarcity into strategy. He used a national brand, Egypt, under Joseph, so neighboring markets trusted the quality and the fairness. Write this down, please. Authority sets prices, but righteousness sets policies. Never exploit pain. Manage it. We will deem it monetized mercy without exploitation later. But see the posture now. Serve first, scale wisely. Bridge it to the day. Recession is famine by another name. Bubbles fatten the cows. Rate hikes and shocks make them thin. You cannot cancel the cycle. You can command your response. Joseph's operating system transfers. Collect a fifth in the fat years. For your household, that is a disciplined 20% habit, capital, skills, and relationships. Build store cities. In our time, that's diversified reserves, cash equivalents, durable assets, pantry and supply, data backups, and strategic alliances stored in the regions you live and the industries you serve. Appoint commissioners. Translate that to governance budgets, calendars, SOPs, and accountability partners who sign off on expenditures and expansions. Create logistics. Design the road from your reserves to your market distribution channels, delivery partners, digital platforms. Establish pricing. Decide now how you will price in crisis, fair margins, tiered offerings, community allowances, so you do not invent ethics under pressure. Everybody say, govern the grain. Say it again. Tell your neighbor, build store cities. Write this down, please. Your house is a nation. Your budget is a policy. Your pantry is a storehouse. Your calendar is a constitution. Joseph did national policy at scale. You will do household policy with excellence. And if God promotes you as he did Joseph, your personal discipline becomes public protection. Do not pray to be over nations if you mismanage a notebook. Some of you are still calling what you need a miracle. What you need is a map. Joseph proves the Spirit of God is not allergic to spreadsheets. Since God has made all this known to you, that is revelation. You shall be in charge, that is administration. Write this down, please. Prayer is where you hear. Planning is where you obey. Deuteronomy 8:18 reminds you, it is the Lord who gives you power to get wealth. Power is capacity, competence, concepts. God gives power. You must design policy and authority. Whether Pharaoh's ring or your board's vote scales what wisdom designs. So I commission you in the spirit of Joseph. Audit your years of plenty, what flowed in and what leaked out. Define your fifth locket as non-negotiable seed for future famine. Identify your store, cities, accounts, storage, platforms, relationships near the fields of your production. Appoint your commissioners, spouse, advisor, team lead who see the books and sign the thresholds. Build the road distribution before decoration. And pre-write your famine rules how you open the storehouse, at what pace and with what protections for the week. May Genesis 41 stop being a bedtime story and start being your boardroom standard. Joseph's story is not superstition. It is a tested operating system for volatile times. And when the thin cows come, and they will, you will not shrink. You will open. You will serve. You will lead. A nation starting with your own household will come to buy wisdom. Write this down, please. You must be wealthy in 7 areas or you will be poor somewhere that breaks everything. Recession proofing requires a 7-sphere approach, not a single bank account. Everybody say 7 spheres. Say it again. Joseph's 7-year plan worked because it touched all 7. He didn't stash grain alone. He built a life architecture. If you skip a sphere, the storm finds the gap. If you strengthen them all, the storm becomes your stage. The first sphere is spiritual wealth, alignment, purpose, covenant. Joseph begins with God. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do, he said. That's spiritual clarity in a secular boardroom. Proverbs 4:7 says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. James 1:5 promises God gives wisdom liberally to those who ask. Write this down, please. Pray for wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and divine ideas. Not stuff strategy, not money meaning. John 1:1 says, in the beginning was the word, logos, the expressed idea. When your spirit is aligned with God's idea, your plan is not a guess, it's a guidance system. Everybody say spiritual wealth. Tell your neighbor, my source is God. My plan is revealed. If you are spiritually broke, you misread seasons, hire the wrong counsel, and sell your birthright for a bowl of soup. Not in this house. The second sphere is soul wealth, intellectual and emotional development. Learn, unlearn, relearn. Joseph interpreted complex data, dreams, symbols, cycles, and remained calm under Pharaoh's gaze. That's soul wealth. Philippians 4:7 says, the peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds. Write this down, please. Peace under pressure is profit. In years 1 and 2, you will not only store money, you will store mind. Books, courses, mentorships, cross-training. Upgrade your thinking to match your assignment. Everybody say soul wealth. Say it again. If your emotions run your enterprise, your panic will price your product. If your mind is lazy, your hands will do slavery. Luke 2:52 says, Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. That is soul growth by design. The third sphere is physical wealth, your health disciplines. If your body breaks down, you are poor. I don't care how fat your account is, a failing body extracts more interest than any bank. Write this down, please. Fatigue is expensive. Sickness is a thief. Joseph shaved, changed garments, presented himself ready for the palace. He carried himself with prudence and presence. You need sleep like a strategy. You need food like fuel. You need movement as maintenance. 3 John 1-2 says, beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. Your calendar must include the gym like it includes the board meeting. Everybody say physical wealth. Tell your neighbor, my body is an asset. If your body collapses, your ideas die homeless. The fourth sphere is relational wealth. You are as poor as the friends you have. You are as wealthy as the friends you keep. The cupbearer remembered Joseph. Pharaoh trusted Joseph. Commissioners executed for Joseph. That's relational architecture. Write this down, please. Most of the time, you don't need money. You need people with money who trust you. Nurture mentors, peers, and proteges. Forgive quickly to keep the prayer lines open. Don't collect followers, cultivate allies. Everybody say relationships. Say it again. Proverbs 27:17 says, iron sharpens iron. If you surround yourself with butter knives, you will never cut through a crisis. Build circles that can carry weight when the wind shifts. The fifth sphere is influence wealth, a trustworthy name. Proverbs 22:1, a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Joseph received a ring because he already had a reputation. Can we find anyone like this man? One in whom is the Spirit of God. Use my name, said Pharaoh without saying it. Write this down, please. A clean reputation is credit you can spend in famine. Integrity is the collateral for authority. Deliver when others make excuses. Keep promises when the market shakes. Everybody say influence wealth. Tell your neighbor, guard your name like a vault. Doors money cannot open swing at the weight of trust. The sixth sphere is community, wealth, service, problem solving, public good. You are never remembered for what you saved. You are remembered for what you gave. Joseph's plan fed nations. That is community wealth. Your brand becomes a blessing when your enterprise solves real problems for real people at fair terms. Isaiah 58 says, when you feed the hungry and satisfy the afflicted soul, your light will rise in the darkness. Write this down, please. Design your business model to bless your street, not just your spreadsheet. Sponsor apprenticeships. Build local supply chains. Give counsel at the school board. Everybody say community wealth. Say it again. Your obituary will not list your accounts, it will list your impact. The seventh sphere is generational wealth structures that make your children beneficiaries of your wisdom. Proverbs 13:22, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Not just cash companies, covenants, competencies, and culture. Joseph's governance preserved Israel through famine. Jacob's family found a place in Goshen, a nation incubated under protection because one man thought beyond his lifetime. Write this down, please. If everything dies with you, you are a failure. Set up trust. Document SOPs. Title assets correctly. Train heirs early. Schedule story nights so the next generation knows why the policy exists. Everybody say generational wealth. Tell your neighbor legacy is a system, not a side. Now tie it back. Joseph's 7-year blueprint touched all 7 spheres. Spiritual wealth, he heard God. Soul wealth, he interpreted with clarity and composure. Physical wealth, he maintained presence and pace for a grueling assignment. Relational wealth, he stewarded networks from prison to palace. Influence wealth, he built a name that carried a ring. Community wealth, he fed the world. Generational wealth, he positioned a lineage to survive and multiply. Write this down, please. Don't copy Joseph's outcomes, copy his architecture. So here is your charge. Audit each sphere. In spiritual wealth, set a daily appointment with God for wisdom. In soul wealth, enroll in a course that scares your comfort. In physical wealth, schedule your sleep and steps. In relational wealth, list your top 12 relationships and invest time deliberately. In influence, wealth, choose one integrity, upgrade an apology to make a process to tighten. In community wealth, pick one local problem and attach your product to its solution. In generational wealth, draft your will, outline your trust, and begin a family meeting rhythm. Tell your neighbor, we will be storm-proof in all 7. Say it again. Write this down, please. Storms test structures, not slogans. Money is pursued. Riches are accumulated. Wealth is created across spheres. May poverty never live in your house again because you built in 7 directions at once. Famine will come, but you will not fear it. You will stand inside a holistic fortress, spirit steady, soul trained, body strong, friends faithful, name clean, city blessed, heirs prepared. That is how the kingdom does recession, by design, not by dread. Now clap right there, because you just received the frame that holds the next 7 years. Years 1 and 2 are not glamorous. They are governmental. These first 2 years decide whether the next 5 are expansion or embarrassment. Write this down, please. Secure the base before you scale the dream. Everybody say, secure the base. Say it again. In the kingdom, foundation comes before fame. Joseph's first move was not branding, it was bins. Not marketing, measurements. So we begin where Joseph began, store before the storm, with a disciplined fifth. Genesis 41 to 34, let them take a fifth of the harvest. That is 20%. I recommend 20 to 30% in this volatile world. Proverbs 21:20 confirms it. Precious treasure and oil are in a wise man's dwelling, but a foolish man devours it. You will not devour, you will deposit. But hear me, before you store, you must repent. Yes, repent. Write this down, please. Stop praying for things. Start asking for ideas. James 1 to 5. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally. Ask for wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and divine ideas. Tell your neighbor, forgive me, Lord, for chasing money. Money is pursued. Wealth is created. We will not chase paper. We will pursue principles. Matthew 6:33. Seek first the kingdom, and all these things shall be added. Your prayer list is changing tonight. No more, Lord, give me a car, but Lord, birth in me a concept that purchases fleets and feeds cities. Clap right there. Now we audit. Luke 14:28 asks, which of you wanting to build a tower does not first sit down and count the cost? Write this down, please. Audit is honor, counting is stewardship. Take one notebook or one spreadsheet and create 7 pages. Page 1, income streams. List every inflow by source for the last 24 months. Salary, side work, refunds, royalties, interest, gifts. You cannot command what you cannot categorize. Page 2, expenses. Fixed, variable, sneaky, subscriptions, meals out, ride shares, fees, insurance, interest, apps. Page 3, skills. What can you do that creates value? What licenses, languages, tools, trades? What do you know that others rent by the hour? Page 4, relationships. 12 strategic names, mentors, investors, gatekeepers, tradespeople, intercessors, people of trust, not just titles. Page 5, digital footprint. Every subscription, every platform, every password policy, your data backups, your cybersecurity habits. Page 6, health metrics, weight, blood pressure, blood sugar, sleep hours, steps, alcohol intake, nicotine status. I don't think like most wealth teachers. They normally think about money. I don't. If your body breaks down, you are poor. Page 7, assets and liabilities, house, cars, tools, accounts, debts, rates, terms. Proverbs 27 to 23 commands, be diligent to know the state of your flocks. Your flocks today are your accounts, your skills, your relationships, your body. After audit, we prune. Write this down, please. Prune liabilities to release liquidity. Everybody say prune. Say it again. Execute a 7 2-hour cancellation sprint. Cancel non-productive subscriptions. If it doesn't teach you, feed you, or pay you, it is fired. Call your provider's insurance, phone, internet, gym, and renegotiate rates. We are reviewing all expenses. I value your service. What can you do to lower this by 20% today? Stay silent. Let them find a discount. Exit vanity assets. That second car that sits, that storage unit of nostalgia, those gadgets collecting dust, convert them into seed. Deuteronomy 8:18 says, God gives power to get wealth. He does not give clutter to keep you sentimental. You are not selling your memories. You are funding your future. Tell your neighbor, cut it to grow it. Now, Joseph's rule, lock a fifth, 20% of all increase. If you can push to 30 in these 2 years, even better. Write this down, please. The first bill you pay is the future. Allocate the fifth to 3 vaults. Vault 1, cash equivalents. Build a liquid buffer equal to 6 months of your essential expenses in high-quality cash vehicles, money market, T-bills, insured savings, so your emotions don't become expensive when headlines scream. Vault 2, staples. Build a household pantry, 90 days of essential goods, water, staple foods, hygiene, baby and elder care items, critical medicines and refills. Store wisdom in jars like Joseph stored grain. Proverbs 6:6-8. Go to the ant. She prepares her bread in summer and gathers her food in harvest. Vault 3, knowledge. A fifth of your stored value must be translated into certifications, tools, and documented systems. You can lose a job, you cannot lose a skill. You can be evicted from a building, you cannot be evicted from wisdom. Everybody say, store knowledge. Say it again. In these 2 years, every household member must certify 1 money skill and 1 mercy skill. Write that down, please. A money skill produces income in any weather. Accounting basics, financial modeling, copywriting, sales, coding, UX design, welding, plumbing, electrical, forklift, project management, bookkeeping, digital advertising. Pick one and earn a recognized certificate or license. Do not say, I'm too old. Moses was 80 at his burning bush. Your burning bush is the enrollment page. A mercy skill is how you serve when markets ache. CPR, first aid, conflict de-escalation, bulk cooking, elder care basics, trauma-informed listening, emergency communications, sanitation. Why mercy? Because crisis rewards those who can keep people alive and calm. The one who can bake bread and bandage wounds will always be welcome at the gate. Tell your neighbor, in our house, we print money and we pour mercy. Home resilience is not paranoia, it is prudence. Write this down, please. Resilience is cheaper than panic. 90 days of essential goods saved in rotation so nothing spoils. Simple energy backups, a small generator or solar battery kit matched to your critical loads. Lights, device charging, fridge. Learn safe fuel storage or choose battery. Build data backups, cloud plus an encrypted offline drive stored in a fireproof bag. Scan vital documents, IDs, titles, wills, health directives, insurance, SOPs. Keep a basic go bag, medications, copies, cash, charges, water filter, radio. Start a simple garden or join a local co-op. If you can't grow, you can trade. If you can't trade, you can volunteer and build supply relationships. Joseph built store cities near fields. You build trusted connections near your food. Everybody say store cities. Say it again. Relational reserves now. List your 12. Put them on your calendar. 1 each month gets a value deposit, an introduction, a referral, a timely resource, a prayer, a thank you note with specifics, a meal, a problem solved. Write this down, please. Most of the time, you don't need money. You need a phone number that answers because you added value in peacetime. Keep the prayer lines open. Offense is too expensive for this assignment. Matthew 5:23-24 says, make it right before you bring your gift. Forgive quickly so heaven hears you clearly. A clean heart is a clear channel for ideas. Everybody say relationships. Say it again. Now the body, the first factory. If your production center is broken, your plan is fantasy. 3 John 1-2 declares, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health. Write this down, please. Fatigue is debt. Rest is revenue. Establish protocols. Sleep 7-8 hours. Set a consistent bedtime and wake time. Diet, eat like you have an assignment. Lean proteins, colorful plants, high fiber, hydrate with water. Limit sugar to sabotage disease. Cut excessive alcohol. Eliminate smoking and vaping today, not next Lent. Exercise for 150 minutes a week at minimum. Walk briskly. Lift something heavy 2 to 3 times. Stretch your joints. Get sunlight daily. Schedule health checks. Blood pressure, A1C, lipids, dental, vision. Replace scrolling with strolling. If your body collapses, your ideas die homeless. Tell your neighbor, my body is an asset. Let me give you a picture to make this practical. A fictional family, but a true template. The Adiyama sat at their table with a notebook titled Goshen Plan. Year 1, they repented first, changed their prayer. They audited everything, realized they had 9 streaming services, 2 gym memberships they never used, and paid retail for insurance. They canceled 7 subs, renegotiated the rest, and sold a motorcycle they rode twice a year. That cash seeded their 5th. They bought a modest solar kit for the fridge and lights. They built a 90-day pantry. Mom, certified in bookkeeping. Dad took a weekend electrician license prep. Their 1 6-year-old learned CPR and launched a weekend lawn route. 12 names went on the fridge. Each month, someone got a handwritten note, a lead, or a lunch. They slept more, walked together, and the snoring stopped, blood pressure dropped. Year 2, their cash buffer reached 6 months. Mom picked up 3 bookkeeping clients. Dad added panel installs on Saturdays. Their teen mowed 12 yards and saved half. When layoffs hit the city, the Adayamists did not panic. They opened their storehouse of skills and relationships. Neighbors came for advice and soup. Clients came for clarity. The same storm that sank others' budgets became their business catalyst. Write this down, please. Preparation attracts provision. Discipline the habit. Automate the 5th. The day income lands, the first transaction moves 20-30% to your vaults. Not after brunch, not after Black Friday. First, honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your produce. Proverbs 3-9-10. Then your barns will be filled with plenty. Your barns are your buffers. Your bins, your books, your body. Everybody say first. Say it again. If it's not automated, it's aspirational. If it's not scheduled, it's sentimental. So here is your 2-year commission. Week 1, 2, repent and reset prayer. Week 3, 4, complete the 7-page audit. Month 2, cancel and renegotiate. Set the 5th on autopilot. Begin pantry build. Month 3, choose and enroll in 1 money skill and 1 mercy skill for each household member. Month 4, energy and data backups in place. Document scan. Month 5, relationships, calendar activated. 1 value deposit sent weekly. Month 6, health protocols, lock, sleep, diet, exercise, toxin, exit tracked on paper. Months 7-24, repeat, refine, and increase the 5th to 30% when raises or side income appear. Tell your neighbor, we will be faithful in the fat years. Write this down, please. Storms test structures, not slogans. Your 2-year foundation is your structure. May poverty never live in your house again because you chose discipline over drama. May Proverbs 21-5 be your rhythm. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. May your fist speak louder than fear. May your skills multiply, your relationships answer, your body endure, and your store cities stand. Everybody say secure the base. Say it again. Now clap right there because your next 5 years just found a flaw. Years 3 and 4, this is where we shift the transmission. We move from accumulating to producing. Everybody say production. Say it again. Write this down, please. Money is pursued. Riches are accumulated. Wealth is created by production. Matthew 25 says the master delivered to one 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1. Then he who had received the 5 went at once and traded with them and made 5 more. Matthew 25-15-16. The wicked servant buried his. He hoarded. The commendation came to the ones who multiplied. That is kingdom economics. Not collecting, creating, not hiding, harnessing. Occupy till I come, Luke 19:13. KJV means engage, trade, produce, build engines that run when you sleep. Write this down, please. Saving is seed. Production is harvest. Years 1 and 2, strengthen your base. Years 3 and 4, turn stored value into systems that print value. John 1:14 says, and the word became flesh. Logos idea took on form. This is the moment your ideas must take on form. Stop keeping brilliance in your head where no one can buy it. Monetize wisdom. Productize your expertise. If you solve the problem once with excellence, package that method so it can solve it 1,000 times without you in the room. Courses for what you do intuitively. Templates for what you repeat. Services wrapped with clear scope, timeline, and guarantee. License your IP to people who can carry your method into places you cannot go. Write this down, please. If they can use your method without you, you have wealth. If they can only use you, you have a job. Let me make it plain with a story. Eliana, from our earlier couple, built dashboards to help small businesses see before they sank. In year 3, she turned her process into the visibility kit, a step-by-step course, 3 plug-and-play templates, and a 90-minute review service. She licensed the templates to 2 regional accountants for a monthly fee per client. That's production. Marcus stopped trading his back for dollars and built service packages, estimate exact, renovation readiness, and home health plan. Each had checklists, timelines, and warranties. He trained 2 apprentices with his SOPs and paid by production, not by the hour. Finished the checklist, earned the share. Their income stopped wobbling because their ideas learned to walk on paper. Proverbs 21:5 says, the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. Plan is product. Diligence is system. Abundance is the outcome. Everybody say systems. Say it again. Write this down, please. What you do once is effort. What you can repeat is a system. What others can repeat with your checklist is a business. So in years 3 and 4, you will build standard operating procedures for every recurring task. Document it, record it, name it. Do not trap your family's future in your memory. Build checklists for your sales call, your fulfillment, your customer follow-up, your invoicing, your refunds, your quality control. Design dashboards that show weekly the numbers that matter: leads generated, conversations held, orders fulfilled, on-time delivery, cash collected, days of reserve on hand. If you cannot see your business in 5 numbers, you are flying at night without instruments. Proverbs 27:23 echoes. Be diligent to know the state of your flocks. That's metrics. Build automation where repetition lives. Email sequences, appointment schedulers, inventory reorder triggers. Free your hands to produce higher value. Now write this down, please. Production is not just digital, it is practical. Create one micro enterprise that solves a recurring problem on your street. Don't overthink it, overserve it. One of our members, Aunt Livia, noticed workers returning home exhausted and eating out of bags. She launched Wednesday Warm, a subscription soup and bread pickup with 3 rotating options: prepaid monthly, safe kitchen, permits in place, and a text alert when the ladle lifts. Her SOP was tight. Labels, portions, sanitation, pickup flow, and a teenage team paid by batch completed. Within months, 50 households subscribed. She added a licensed recipe card set that other church kitchens now run, paying her a small per bowl fee. That is how community wealth meets production. Serve a need, standardize the process, then let others duplicate it under your name. Proverbs 31:18 says, of the virtuous woman, she perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out by night. She perceived, she merchandised, she profited, she ran a system. Asset moves now become engines, not trophies. Write this down, please. Buy what pays you. Years 1 and 2 stored capital. Years 3 and 4 planted in producers. Consider cash flow real estate you can manage by system duplexes, small multifamily where rent covers expenses with margin, and there is a written SOP for tenant screening, maintenance tickets, reserves, and insurance reviews. Consider dividend instruments, companies that share profits consistently, reinvested automatically to multiply shares while you sleep. Consider peer co-ops, 3 to 7 trusted households, pooling disciplined capital with written bylaws, governance, audit, and a reserve requirement to purchase equipment, vehicles, or workspace that multiple micro enterprises share. Write this down, please. Community capital without governance is a grenade. With bylaws and reserves, it is a bank. Ecclesiastes 11:2 whispers wisdom. Give a portion to 7, or even to 8, for you know not what disaster may happen on earth. Diversify producers. Don't worship one cow. Build a herd. Everybody say multiply talent. Say it again. Wealth accelerates when your ideas hire hands, and then those hands teach other hands. Timothy 2:2 says, what you have heard from me, entrust to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. That is apprenticeship. Build a training track. Shadow, supervise execution, independent execution, then trainer. Pay by production with clarity and fairness, so output is rewarded and idleness is expensive to the idle, not to the enterprise. Create a library, short videos, one-page SOPs, templates, so when someone joins, your wisdom onboards them without you repeating yourself until resentment steals your joy. Write this down, please. If it isn't written, it isn't a system. It's witchcraft, and you are the only magician. Come out of that bondage. Document, delegate, develop. And hear me, pricing must reflect production, not panic. Stop discounting your destiny. When your process is proven, your guarantee is clear, and your outcomes are consistent, your price should honor your stewardship. Luke 10:7 says, the laborer is worthy of his wages. Build tiered offerings, entry, core, premium, sow value and service scale together. Use retainers and subscriptions to stabilize cash flow. Install late fees and scope controls to protect sanity. Wealth is order applied to value. Tell your neighbor, my ideas will hire my hands, then hire other hands. Say it again. Write this down, please. Production turns stored grain into bread for nations and profit for stewardship. In years 3 and 4, you will stop hugging your savings like a blanket and start seeding engines like a farmer. You will productize what you know. You will launch one micro enterprise that solves a real repeating problem. You will build SOPs, checklists, and dashboards so excellence is predictable. You will convert stored cash into paying assets with governance and reserves. You will multiply talent through apprenticeships and pay by production. Proverbs 14:23 affirms it, in all labor there is profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. This is the end of mere talk. May the Lord breathe on your engines. May your ideas become flesh. May your systems outlive you. Clap right there, because when you move from accumulation to production, famine loses negotiation power over your house. Year 5 is the road year. Everybody say distribution. Say it again. Write this down, please. The road is richer than the warehouse. You can have barns full of grain and still be broke in the market if no one can reach your storehouse and you can't reach their table. Proverbs 11:26 says, people curse the one who hoards grain, but they bless the one who sells it, not dumps it, sells it fairly, timely, consistently. Joseph didn't just store, he built store cities near fields and access routes to cities. That's distribution. That is where stored value and production become influence. I don't think like most people when they hear sales, they think pressure. I don't. Write this down, please. Distribution is service at scale. It is making it easier for people to receive your solution. Channel strategy now clear, simple, diversified. Ecclesiastes 11:2 says, give a portion to 7 and also to 8 because you don't know what disaster may come. That is channel diversification. First channel, e-commerce. Your own direct storefront that you control your prices, your policies, your story, not just a social page. Facebook is rented land. Your website and your list are owned land. Build a clean checkout, mobile first. Offer simple bundles and a subscription toggle. Connect reliable payments and a fulfillment flow that you have rehearsed. Second channel, wholesale partnerships. Get on other people's shelves, local grocers, clinics, salons, schools, corporate break rooms, faith centers. They already have traffic. You give them margin, they give you reach. Do the math before you sign volume with margin, not volume with vanity. Third channel, recurring subscriptions. Write this down, please. Predictability is profitability. Build a membership, a refill schedule, a monthly service, cleaning, bookkeeping, meal kits, filter replacements, coaching cohorts. Covenant creates continuity. Fourth channel, community hubs. Pop-ups at church halls, school parking lots, farmers markets, co-ops, barbershops, community centers. Luke 14:23, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in. Joseph brought grain to gates. You bring value to neighborhoods. Now the engine behind the road is relationships. You are as poor as the introductions you lack. You are as wealthy as the names that open doors for you. Write this down, please. Warm introductions are currency. This is the year you convert years of goodwill into doors that swing. Use my name. That sentence is wealth. When a banker tells a distributor, take this call, use my name, your pallets move. When a principal tells the PTA, trust this vendor, use my name, your subscription fills. Tell your neighbor, guard your name so others can lend there. Joseph's ring was permission. Your reputation is a pass. Don't burn it on late deliveries and broken promises. Deliver early, answer quickly. Make problems cheaper for your partners than for yourself. That is how your name becomes a key. Digital logistics now. Write this down, please. Own your audience. Algorithms are moody. Covenant is steady. Build an email list like Joseph built. Silos, daily collection, careful segmentation, clean content. Offer value to join checklists, mini courses, recipes, templates, whatever matches your product. Send a weekly rhythm. Teach, tell, and take. Teach something that helps. Tell a story that proves. Take an order with a clear ask. Add an SMS lane for time-sensitive drops. Build an affiliate network of micro partners, barbers, pastors, teachers, nurses, club captains, people who trust you and speak to tight-knit groups. Give them a code, track their impact, pay on time. Content pipelines matter. A simple calendar, one long piece per week, repurposed into short posts, emails, reels, and training snippets. Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision and make it plain that he may run who reads it. Make your offer so plain the courier can carry it and the consumer can click it. Distribution also means choosing your legs, in-house or 3PL. Write this down, please. Speed is a sermon. People hear your integrity in your delivery times. If in-house, set clear, pick, pack, ship, windows, orders in by noon, out by 5 p.m. If 3PL, negotiate SLAs on time, in full, above 95%, and audit weekly. Local last mile partnerships, bike couriers, rideshare drivers on off hours, neighborhood teams with supervision. Turn your city into a same-day opportunity. Return should be simple and unembarrassing. Redemption is a kingdom value, and it reduces friction. Now, the compass, data. Everybody say, data is the compass. Say it again. Feelings are not metrics. Likes are not orders. Followers are not customers. Write this down, please. Tune for throughput, not vanity. Track 5 numbers every week. 1, conversion rate visits to purchases. If 1,000 visit and 20 buy, that's 2%. Ask why. 2, retention or churn. Who stays on the subscription and for how long? If they leave at month 3, the problem is in month 2. Fix the experience before you buy more ads. 3, delivery time. Pay to delivered, average, and 95th percentile. Consistency builds trust. 4, acquisition cost versus lifetime value. If it costs you $25 to win a customer who spends $200 over a year, increase the road. If it costs $60 to win $40, change lanes. 5, on time and full on error rates. Every mispick is a tax on your reputation. What you don't track, you cannot trust. What you measure, you can multiply. Let me bring our friends into year 5. The Adiyemis took their bookkeeping service and homewares line and built roads. They launched a simple site with a 3-click checkout and an auto ship 10% off switch. Mom sent a weekly Clarity Friday email, 1 tip, 1 story, 1 offer. Dad landed a wholesale deal with Mama Ijiro's Market because the landlord said, use my name. Their team turned 12 lawn clients into a monthly maintenance club subscription, not hustle. On Saturdays, they hosted a pop-up at the church hall. Bread, budgets, and bulbs, fresh loaves from a neighbor, free one, 5-minute money clinics, discounted LED kits installed on site. Affiliates, 10 trusted community, voices receive codes, and a 15% commission paid the first Monday of the month, no excuses. They tracked conversions, saw churn at month 3, added a welcome kit with a handwritten note and a bonus. Churn dropped by half, delivery averaged 2 days. They proudly printed it on the site. The road spoke, revenue stabilized, influence expanded. They did not beg the market, they served it faster. This is year 5. Extend roads, not excuses. Tell your neighbor, my value will travel. Everybody say distribution. Say it again. May your roots be righteous and your systems steady. May your emails be open, your partners be loyal, your deliveries be early, and your name go ahead of you. Proverbs 16:7 says, when a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. May even traffic favor you. Write this down, please. Distribution is how kingdoms take territory. You are not just moving products, you are moving solutions. Now clap right there, because your road just got richer than your warehouse. Year 6 is the shield year. Distribution gave you roads. Now we fortify the city. Everybody say protection. Say it again. Write this down, please. Influence plus structure protects and accelerates your enterprise when storms hit. Joseph did not only build barns, he built policy. Genesis 41 says Pharaoh gave him the signet ring, put him in the chariot, and made him ruler over all Egypt, to bind his princes at his pleasure and teach his elders wisdom. Psalm 105 to 21-22. That's boardroom authority. That's policy power. If you are not in the room, the rules will tax you. Tell your neighbor, get in the room. Boards and rooms first. I don't think like most people think when they say networking, they think handshakes. I don't. Write this down, please. Boards write boundaries, and boundaries decide blessings. Join your chamber of commerce. Get on the industry standards committee. Sit on the PTA finance council. Apply to the small business advisory board at City Hall. Serve on the hospital foundation or the credit union board. Proverbs 31 to 23 says, her husband is known in the gates, the place of decisions. Gates today are committees and councils. Why? Because zoning permits, vendor lists, curfew protocols, emergency supply chains, brand criteria, they are set in rooms. You complain from the sidewalk, the wise draft a policy. When you sit in those rooms, you bring kingdom conviction and practical clarity. You do not go to be famous, you go to be formative. Write this down, please. Your presence at the table is a protection for your house. Now, banking, everybody say covenant. Say it again. Deuteronomy 28:12 declares, the Lord will open to you his good treasury. You shall lend to many nations and not borrow. That is capacity in crisis. You secure it while the skies are blue. Write this down, please. The worst time to ask for an umbrella is in the rain. Build a covenant with your banker now. Take them your financial statements, your dashboards, your SOPs. Show them your retention, your delivery times, your margins. Negotiate a line of credit tied to receivables and inventory. Keep it unused and kept disciplined. Update them twice a year like clockwork, no surprises. Ask your key supplier for terms, 2/10 net 30 or consignment on steady SKUs so your cash breathes. Ask trusted mentors to say the phrase that moves markets, use my name. That sentence compresses years into days. Write this down, please. Liquidity is a defense. Favor is a shield. Discipline is the lock on the vault. Legal armor now. I want you to think like a steward, not a hustler. Hustlers hope, stewards structure. Proverbs 22:3 says, the prudent sees danger and hides himself. Hide in structure. Proper entities, LLC or corporation, so risk is contained. Operating agreements and buy-sell clauses so conflict doesn't burn the house. File your trademarks, your name, your logo, your flagship product lines. Register copyrights for your courses and templates. If you invented, consult counsel about patents, NDAs, and work for hire agreements with contractors so ownership is clear. Build a compliance calendar, annual filings, license renewals, tax deadlines, insurance audits posted and shared with a responsible person, not floating in your head. Establish a family trust so ownership is stewarded beyond you and probate does not hold your children hostage. Insure what you cannot absorb. General liability, product liability, professional E&O, workers' comp, cyber, business interruption, key person, and an umbrella to catch the stray storm. Write this down, please. A promise spoken is fragile. A covenant signed can stand in the flood. Operational resilience. I don't measure strength by how fast you grow. I measure it by how well you continue when hit. Everybody say resilience. Say it again. Luke 14:28 asks, which of you intending to build a tower does not first sit down and count the cost of disruption? Multiple vendors for your critical inputs, at least 2 approved, prices pre-negotiated, specs documented, contingency contracts, alternative carriers, co-packers, shared warehouse options so you can pivot without panic. Cross-train your team. When one role is out, another steps in. Build a 90-day cash buffer. Minimum 120 days is honor. So payroll and rent don't shiver when the market coughs. Cybersecurity is not optional, it is stewardship. Turn on multi-factor authentication everywhere. Use a password manager. Apply updates weekly. Back up your data with the 3-2-1 rule, 3 copies, 2 media, 1 off-site, offline, run quarterly phishing drills, limit access by role, least privilege. Have a breach response checklist printed and rehearsed. Test your generator. Keep a secondary internet path. Write this down, please. Excellence is fragile without redundancy. Community MOUs next. Joseph's genius was not only storage, but structure with cities and roots in famine. Everybody ran to him because access was organized. Ecclesiastes 4:12 says, a cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Build cords before the wind. Draft memoranda of understanding with churches, NGOs, and municipalities. Define roles, facilities, access, security, communications, liability, rates, and points of contact. Become a vendor of record with your city. Register now so when emergency funds flow, your number's on the list. Partner with the school district for distribution of essentials. Align with the Red Cross or local equivalents for coordinated relief. Practice a tabletop drill once a year. Walk through a scenario and learn your gaps. Write this down, please. Sign before the siren. Rehearse before the rain. Let me bring our friends into year 6. The Adiyemis joined the chamber. And within 3 months, Mom was invited onto the school district's financial literacy council. Dad accepted a seat on the neighborhood resilience task force. Rooms shifted. Their banker, whom they had briefed quarterly for 2 years, approved a $75,000 line of credit, untouched and ready. 2 suppliers agreed to net 4 or 5 terms on staples, and a regional co-packer signed a contingency agreement. They filed the trademark for Clarity Friday, registered copyrights for their templates, and moved ownership of IP into a family trust while electing S-Corp status for tax efficiency under council. Insurance, they added cyber, business interruption, and key person. The compliance calendar lived in a shared dashboard with alarms, no more misfilings. Cyber hygiene tightened, MFA, password manager, off-site backups, phishing drills for the whole team. Cash buffer grew to 120 days. They signed MOUs with their church to convert the hall into a distribution site in emergencies, and with the city to supply LED kits for crisis conservation campaigns. When a storm knocked out power in 2 districts, their site stayed up on backup. The church opened on schedule. The city called their number. Suppliers prioritized their orders because of terms. And the bank extended a temporary increase on the line because trust was already in place. Competitors scrambled, they served. Influence plus structure accelerated them under pressure. Everybody say policy and protection. Say it again. Write this down, please. Protection is a policy you sign before a problem you feel. This is year 6. Get in the rooms where rules are written. Secure covenantal credit while the sun shines. Put legal armor on your ideas and your operations. Build redundancy like an ant. Proverbs 6 says the ant prepares her bread in summer. Tie cords with community before the wind rises. By wise guidance, you can wage your war, and in abundance of counselors, there is victory. Proverbs 24:6. May your name be known in the gates. May policy favor your assignment. May no weapon formed against you prosper, because your paperwork, your prudence, and your prayer stop it at the door. Now clap right there. Your city has walls and your gates have guards, and the storm will only announce your stability. Year 7 is the whistle. Crisis is not a surprise. It is an appointment for prepared stewards. Everybody say, open the storehouses. Say it again. Write this down, please. Famine reveals stewards. Genesis 41:56 says, and the famine was over all the face of the earth, and Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians. He did not panic. He did not hoard. He did not dump. He opened on time with order, and he sold fairly to stabilize a nation. Timing is leadership. Compassion as a schedule. When the cry rises, strategy answers. Tell your neighbor, my mercy has management. I don't think like most people when they hear crisis, they think hide. I don't. I think harvest. Not harvesting people, harvesting trust, influence, territory for righteousness. Write this down, please. In famine, serve first and scale wisely. Joseph opened supply strategically, not sentimentally. You will identify priority segments, children, elders, critical workers, and core partners, and you will create lanes for each. School accounts get morning delivery windows. Elders get doorstep service with a phone confirmation. Nurses, sanitation teams, transit drivers get a preset pack with their badge. Partners with purchase orders get allotments by forecast, not favoritism. This is not chaos, this is command. Now pricing. Everybody say ethics. Say it again. Proverbs 11:1 says, a false balance is abomination to the Lord. Write this down, please. Post your prices and your policy. Famine is when your margins reveal your morals. You will run cost plus with a fair, capped margin, transparent, printed, and updated weekly. No hidden fees, no mysterious crisis surcharges. If shipping rises, you show it. If it falls, you lower it. You will create a mercy fund, funded from profits in the fat years and small surcharges customers can add voluntarily to subsidize the vulnerable. Leviticus 19:9 taught gleaning, leave the edges for the poor and the stranger. Build your gleaning windows. Daily time blocks where qualified families pick up relief packs at reduced or zero cost. That is monetized mercy, sustainable compassion without exploitation. Tell your neighbor, I make money like a king and show mercy like a priest. May your scale fund your kindness. Write this down, please. Terms, not trinkets. When panic hits, amateurs toss freebies. Stewards extend terms with wisdom. Proverbs 22:7 warns, the borrower is servant to the lender. Become the lender righteously. Create net terms for institutions, net 1.4 for schools, net 2.1 for clinics, backed by purchase orders and a simple credit check. Offer payment plans to households with documented income, and a guarantor. Church deacons and community leaders can vouch, and the Mercy Fund can underwrite a portion. Use invoice factoring with reputable partners to turn receivables into working capital at a reasonable discount. But don't sell your soul. Cap your cost of cash. Register collateral correctly. Use UCC filings where appropriate. Establish clear consequences. Late fees, fair and posted. Service pauses, consistent and kind. Exodus 22-25 cautions against oppressive interest to the poor. We don't pray, we steward. Write this down, please. Terms create loyalty. Gouging creates enemies. Acquisition time. Crisis surfaces bargains and betrays mission drift. Everybody say buy capacity. Say it again. Write this down, please. Acquire distressed assets tied to your assignment, not your ego. Genesis 47 records Joseph acquiring land and systems for Pharaoh, centralizing to protect the people. We are in a different covenant. We acquire to protect, empower, and produce for generations. Buy production capacity before you buy signs. Ovens from a failing bakery that expand your meal program. A small packaging line from a closing factory to standardize your relief kits. A delivery van fleet at auction to stabilize same-day routes. Strategic land, water access, a cold storage lot, a community garden secured in a trust with governance to keep it from being sold by foolish heirs. Jeremiah 32 shows the prophet buying a field as a sign of future hope. Your deeds today must be prophetic, not just profitable. Tell your neighbor, I buy what will feed my grandchildren's children. Now, in the open storehouse, discipline must sing. You will triage inventory by mission critical SKUs. ABC, A items are life and livelihood items, staples, medicine, essential tools, protected, ration forecasted daily. B items are supportive. C items are nice to haves. Pause novelty, pour capacity into essentials. Bob, keep a public dashboard, simple board on the wall or on your site showing stock status, delivery windows, and Mercy Fund balance so the community trusts the process. Write this down, please. Trust is the currency that outlives a famine. Let me bring the Adiemus into year 7. When the regional drought tightened, they did not shudder. They opened with order, a big sign. Today's prices, today's policy. Base price was cost plus a 12% cap, delivery at a flat, honest fee. A green window every afternoon, gleaning hour, 50 relief boxes, prepaid by the Mercy Fund and donors, verified by the school counselor and church care team. They offered net 1-4 to 3 schools for their homework lights, LED kits, and to a clinic for cleaning supplies. They factored those invoices at a 2% fee to keep cash moving. When Oma's Bakery went under, they bought her 2 convection ovens and hired her part-time to run community bread batches, turning flour into daily loaves for relief boxes and paid subscribers. The vacant lot beside their warehouse, they purchased it a dusty dream and turned it into a pop-up hub with a shade tent, cold storage container, and a weekend job fair. 50 youth got work packing, calling elders, delivering boxes with pay by batch and a bonus for on-time, error-free performance. Matthew 5:16 came alive. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father. Their light was logistics soaked in love. Write this down, please. Document while you deliver. David wrote Psalms in caves. Joseph kept ledgers in famine. Start your crisis log. What worked? What failed? What surprised you? And why? Which pacts moved fastest? Which terms turned into trouble? Which messages calmed fear? How your margin held when fuel spiked. Publish a year 7 report for your team and your heirs. What we did, what we will never do again, what we must do sooner next time. Habakkuk 2:2 still applies. Write the vision and make it plain that he may run that reads it. Give the next generation legs to run faster than you walked. Everybody say public good strategy. Say it again. Your obituary is your community wealth. When they read your story, will they say, he had money or she saved a city block? Feed schools. Commit a percentage of weekly output to breakfast kits so no child studies on an empty stomach. Protect elders, fund weather kits, battery backups, and weekly check-in calls. Employ youth turn idle hands into agile teams with training, mentors, and measurable targets. Proverbs 19:17 promises, he who has pity upon the poor lends unto the Lord, and that which he has given will he pay him again. This is not charity alone, it is covenant economics. Righteous stewards gain market leadership by serving first and scaling wisely. Now, activation. Write this down, please. Tonight, draft your crisis price policy and post it. Establish your mercy fund with governance and monthly transparency. Pre-approve 50 households for relief terms with guarantors. Identify 3 distressed assets aligned with your mission and set acquisition criteria, price, condition, cash flow plan. Draft your credit policy. Who qualifies? What collateral? What caps? Build your crisis log template and assign a scribe. Call 3 principals, 2 pastors, and 1 clinic director and say, when the need peaks, use my name. Clap right there. Somebody, doors will open because you decided before the storm. May this be the end of panic in your bloodline. May your storehouses open on time. May your prices be righteous, your terms be wise, your acquisitions be strategic, and your mercy be abundant. May Proverbs 11:25 rest on you. The generous will prosper. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. Tell your neighbor, in famine, I won't flinch, I will lead. Say it again. And may poverty never live in your house again. Now we move from policy to permanence, from your hand to your children's children. Everybody say inheritance architecture. Say it again. Write this down, please. Success is not proven by what you possess. Success is proven by what your grandchildren enjoy without you. Proverbs 13:22 declares, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the righteous. That is the metric, not applause, not cars, not a headline. Grandchildren, systems that carry your values, protect your assets, and deploy your ideas long after your picture fades. Wealth is proven when your systems bless generations you will never meet. I don't think like most people, when they hear inheritance, they normally think about money. I don't. Write this down, please. Money without method is a magnet for mourning. Inheritance is not a check. It is a constitution. It is governance. It is a family operating system. So we must build one. Start with a values charter. This is your family constitution, who we are, what we believe, how we behave with God, with money, with people, with power. One page, clear. We honor the Lord first. Tithe and offering are non-negotiable. We tell the truth. We serve first, then sell. We live on less than we earn. We store 20% of increase. We invest in ideas that produce. We do not borrow for consumption. We reconcile quickly. We do not sue each other. We bless our community. We prepare for storms. Deuteronomy 6:7 says, teach these diligently to your children. Talk of them when you sit in your house. The charter is that talk in writing. Tell your neighbor, culture beats cash. Say it again. Now create meeting rhythms. Write this down, please. Rhythm makes remembrance easy. Weekly table pray, read one proverb, review one principle, celebrate one win, confess one lesson, 30 minutes. Monthly review household profit and loss, savings rate, giving ledger, key numbers from the dashboards, quarterly family board minutes recorded, roles reported, projects approved, risk assessed, annual legacy summit stories from elders, vision for the year, scholarship awards, trustees report, succession rehearsal, minutes are memory, memory becomes method, method survives men. Proverbs 17:6 says, children's children are the crown of all men, but crowns need structure to stay on heads. Assign roles. Everybody say roles. Say it again. Write this down, please. Clarity prevents casualties. Appoint a family steward chair who safeguards mission. A family CFO who manages budgets and reserves. A family CIO who curates ideas and education tracks. A family COO who oversees operations and properties. And a family CCO who leads community giving. Rotate apprentices through these roles by age and capability. Establish decision rules in the charter. Quorum required. 2 signature approvals on major expenditures. 2/3 vote to sell core assets. Unanimous to change the charter. Conflict of interest policy signed annually. This is not paranoia. This is Proverbs 24:3. By wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. Now trust and trustees, Isaiah 38:1. Set your house in order. Write this down, please. An estate plan is not a fear of death. It is a fear of leaving your family unprotected. Create a revocable living trust so assets transfer without probate, dragging your children through public courts. Pair it with a pour over will, durable powers of attorney, and healthcare directives. Appoint trustees based on character and competence, one family, one independent. Consider a corporate trustee as a backstop. Define distributions by milestones and maturity, not birthdays alone. Beneficiary education is law. Before any distribution above a threshold, the heir must complete a stewardship course, maintain the 20% storehouse habit for 12 consecutive months, and present a simple profit and loss and a giving plan. If they cannot steward $2,000, do not hand them $200,000. That is not love, that is sabotage. Succession maps next. Write this down, please. Chaos is the son of silence. Document who takes what role if the steward is absent. Identify interim leaders. Keep an updated org chart for the family enterprise. Conduct a rehearsal once a year. Simulate the absence of a key person and walk through the protocols. Key holder protocols now. This is sacred. Create a stewardship vault, physical folder, an encrypted digital vault with deeds, account titles, insurance policies, passwords, operating agreements, MOUs, and a contact list for counsel, banca, CPA. Never let one person hold the whole key. Use a 2-person rule, 2 trustees, each hold part of the access, and a sealed envelope exists with a 3rd trusted elder for emergencies. Review the vault at the annual summit. Write this down, please. Passwords are not a plan. Protocols are a plan. Education pipeline, this is how you extend your name. 2 Timothy 2:2. What you have heard, entrust to faithful others who can teach others also. Everybody say pipeline. Say it again. Teach your sons and daughters the 7 spheres of wealth. Spiritual first, walk with God, prayer, the word, soul wealth, reading, thinking, emotional mastery, physical wealth, health, discipline, social wealth, relationships, and reputation. Influence wealth, service that earns a name. Community wealth, what you give, and generational wealth, what outlives you. Install the 20% habit early. Every allowance, every gift, every side job. Tie 10, store 20. Invest in a producer. Live on the rest. Give offerings with joy. Create apprenticeships. Rotate youth through family enterprises. Quarterly projects with profit sharing by production, not by surname. Start a family reading list, Proverbs monthly, biographies of builders, case studies. Evaluate with love and standards. Write this down, please. If it isn't taught, it won't be caught. If it isn't practiced, it isn't believed. Now giving strategy. I don't measure wealth by what you keep. I measure it by what you empower. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, says Malachi 3:10, and see if I will not open the windows of heaven. 2 Corinthians 9-8 promises, God is able to make all grace abound to you. Build a giving plan that outlives you, tied to your home church, targeted offerings to missions and mercy, and then seed future solutions through scholarships and endowments. Establish a donor-advised fund or family foundation funded annually from profits, invested prudently, and distribute grants on the calendar with clear criteria tied to your values charter. Sponsor apprenticeships in your trade. Endow micro scholarships for certifications, not just degrees. Set aside a gleaning corner, one fixed percentage of every sale allocated to community relief, like Leviticus commanded fields to leave edges for the poor. Write this down, please. You are never remembered for what you saved. You are remembered for what you gave. Let me show you the Adayimis. They drafted a one-page charter and framed it over the dining table. Fridays became the rhythm, scripture, story, numbers, and plans. At their annual summit, they performed a key holder ceremony. Their pastor prayed. Their banker attended. The 2 trustees each received half of the vault code, and their teen read Proverbs 22:29. They funded the Adeyemi Legacy Trust with their IP and a percentage of profits, then wrote a rule: no beneficiary receives more than the business has trained them to manage. They opened the Clarity Friday Foundation, a donor-advised fund to endow 10 annual tools and tuition grants for trades and tech. Their daughter ran the application process as her apprenticeship. The first scholar sent a photo from his job site. Installing high-efficiency lighting, their value multiplied beyond their street. That is wealth you can measure in names you do not know. Everybody say, children's children. Say it again. Write this down, please. Legacy is a system, not a sentiment. Build the charter. Set the rhythms. Assign the roles. Sign the trust. Educate the heirs. Fund the future. Proverbs 112:2-3 says, his descendants will be mighty on earth. The generation of the upright will be blessed. Wealth and riches are in his house, and his righteousness endures forever. May your descendants be mighty. May your systems endure. May your name be a key in gates you will never see, and may poverty never live in your house again. Now clap right there, because you have just moved your family from memory to architecture, from good intentions to generational stewardship. Activation is the difference between hearing a plan and becoming the solution. Write this down, please. Wisdom over wishes. Everybody say wisdom. Say it again. Now, wherever you are at the table, in your living room, I want a stand-up moment at home. Put your hand on your head as a sign of governance. Your head is your government. Say this with authority. This is the end of poverty in my house. Say it again. Now declare the word. Deuteronomy 8:18. It is he who gives me power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant. James 1-5. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously. Father, today I repent for mismanaging ideas, for fearing crisis, for chasing money. I receive your wisdom. I receive divine ideas. I receive courage to act. Amen. Clap right there. Somebody in your house just changed management. Write this down, please. Repent and reorient. They normally think about money. I don't. I think about ideas. Money is paper. Ideas are factories. Wealth is an idea deployed with discipline. Proverbs 4:7 says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. John 1 says, in the beginning was the word, logos, express idea, and the word became flesh. God doesn't give money. He gives express ideas that become systems. Solomon asked for wisdom, not riches, and God added the rest. 1 Kings 3-9-13. So shift your prayer life. Stop praying for things. Start praying for wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and divine ideas. Schedule it. Put an alarm on your phone, 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. Label it wisdom appointment. When it rings, ask specifically, Lord, give me one idea to produce value today. Give me one relationship to honor. Give me one decision to prune waste. Write it down, please. Direction beats desire. Wisdom organizes wealth. Now, your 3-0 Second Joseph play, say it with me, fast like a drum line. Store 20%. Build production from your best ideas. Secure distribution before decoration. Convert influence into policy and protection. Open the storehouses on time with ethics and mercy. Again, store, produce, distribute, influence, open righteously. Genesis 41 is not a superstition. It is an operating system. Joseph didn't wish. He worked a plan. Then the plan worked him to the top. Tell your neighbor, my plan is my promotion. 7-day sprint begins tonight. Write this down, please. Move 1 stone per day and the wall rises. Day 1 audit. List every subscription, service, and supplier. Circle the top 5 drains. Day 2, prune 1 thing. Cancel 1 non-essential. Renegotiate 1 bill or downsize 1 plan. Proverbs 21:5. The plans of the diligent lead surely to plenty. Day 3, store 1 item. Add 1 staple to your home storehouse and 1 new line to your skills storehouse. Sign up for a micro course or schedule a mentor call. Day 4, draft 1 offer. Put your value in writing. A 1-page product or service with price, deliverables, and a clear guarantee. Day 5, book 1 partner call. Call a principal, a pastor, or a clinic director. Here's how we can serve your people. Can we pilot this for 30 days? Day 6, meet 1 banker. Introduce your 7-year plan. Open the right accounts. Learn their underwriting language and ask what would make you say yes in a crisis. The righteous should be known in the gates. Day 7, teach 1 child. Sit them down with Proverbs. Explain the 20% habit and let them practice by managing a small project with profit and giving. Luke 16:10. He who is faithful in little is faithful also in much. Faithfulness is not a feeling, it is a calendar. Everybody say counsel. Say it again. Where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. Build your council of 3, legal, financial, operational, a wise attorney to help you structure trust, contracts, and compliance, a seasoned financial advisor or CPA to help you steward cash flow, reserves, and risk, an operational mentor, a builder who runs systems, not noise. Give them your written 7-year blueprint. Set a standing 30-minute check-in monthly. Decide your quorum rules now, 2 or 3, council alignment on major moves. Create a crisis card with their numbers and permissions. Write this down, please. Chairmen bring solutions. They never panic. When pressure rises, you'll be the calm in the room because your counsel surrounds you, your plan guides you, and your God upholds you. Psalm 16:7, I will bless the Lord who has counseled me. Indeed, my heart instructs me in the night. Activation checklist, say it with me. Decide in 24 hours. Deliver in 7 days. Document in 30. You don't need everything, you need momentum. Print your Joseph plate and tape it to the refrigerator. Draft your crisis price and mercy policy and email it to your future self. Open a separate storehouse account and automate 20% of every inflow. Book the banker. Book the mentor, teach the child, and write this down, please. A decision in 24 hours is worth more than inspiration in 24 months. Now lift your hands. I commission you as stewards, not survivors, as producers, not pursuers, as givers, not grabbers. May James 1:5 be your daily portion, abundant wisdom without reproach. May Deuteronomy 28 go before you, blessing the city, blessing the field, blessing distribution and production. May your ideas find doors. May your relationships be righteous. May your name carry weight in the Gain Hammond. May famine, fear never govern your calendar again. Tell your neighbor, wisdom over wishes. Say it again. Go home and teach them diligently to your sons and your daughters. Write it on your doorpost. Rehearse it at the table. Practice it in the streets. And I declare over your house, may poverty never live in your house again. Clap right there, because this is the day you move from notes to navigation, from sermons to systems, from hearing a plan to becoming the solution.